Today, IOHR is at the Ethiopian Embassy, which is right in the heart of London, to meet with the newly appointed Ethiopian Ambassador to the UK. That is, of course, Mr. Fesseha Shawel Gebre. Thank you so much for joining us today, Ambassador. It's a pleasure to interview you. Now, as I've said, you've just taken up this new post in February of this year. Tell me what you believe the relationship between the UK and Ethiopia is like.
Relations between Ethiopia and UK is the best because the relation is age-old, because our relationship with UK started before many African countries got independent. And my emperors throughout like 200, 300 years used to have relationship with the court of St. James. And they used to exchange letters. They used to exchange some requests for technology, for development, for trade, and some common issues on religion, on the like. So currently, UK is our biggest development, direct development assistant to Ethiopia. It is not only in terms of political, strategic relationships or security, but it does also in economy and social affairs and in all areas. So UK is our biggest supporter. But we had our differences before we fought, and we cooperated together and fought against fascism. And we are fighting together now, migration and terrorism, all this. I'm very happy to be ambassador in this particular time.
There's been a whole raft of human rights reforms have been ushered in since Abiy Ahmed became Prime Minister in April of 2018. Which ones do you think have been the most successful, and why do you think they have?
It is the human rights area. That's what we were suffering as Ethiopia. You know, in Ethiopia, modern Ethiopia, the last 100 years, we do not know human rights at all. Okay, I understand 50, 60 years back, many countries were in the same basket. But since many have evolved, like UK itself, we got stuck. And we had so many prisoners behind bars. And freedom of expression was a problem. Getting together, organizing yourself, and forming a party of whatever kind was a difficulty, very, very difficult. And so now Dr. Abiy, human rights, he's championing it. Mm-hmm. And we need it because it is a natural right for every human being. That's what he's doing. Secondly is the very conference we are doing on Press Freedom Day in Addis Ababa, beginning of May. That is the area he worked very hard and successful. So this is what I appreciate.
At one point, Ethiopia was the largest jailer of journalists in Africa, and now for the very first time since 2004, there are no journalists currently behind bars. Do you think this is because of the new raft of reforms that Dr. Abiy has put in place?
Precisely. He, as you said it rightly, that we were the worst in jailing journalists. And most of them not only jailed, but we chased them out of the country. And even sometimes watching television stations that are in opposition was punishable by the security forces. We undergone this traumatic history. Now, from that experience, it is like miraculous that we are jailing no journalists. And all who were operating from UK, from Europe, from America, and from African countries, they are all back home. Not only them, but their political parties. So it is a contrast that is 360 changing. Mm-hmm. So I'm very happy to be part of this government and part of this system.
In this new era of press freedom that Ethiopia is enjoying, there must be some opponents. Tell me about them and tell me what their reaction has been.
There are distractors because obviously those people who run the system and benefited out of it, they are fearful of being responsible for what has happened and answerable to the unnecessary and excessive wealth they might have accumulated. So they have to resist it naturally and normally. Secondly, They were running the show. Now they are told that you are as equal as the opposition who was in the field or who was in abroad. So you are here, he is here, you campaign, I campaign, and you take it if you can. So this is what they don't like, because they were enjoying the monopoly of power, the monopoly of forces, and the monopoly of resources. That definitely they will say no to the Prime Minister, but we have to carry on as long as we are on the right side. And that is what is going to happen, I think. They will not defeat us.
Do you think that the reforms that Ethiopia is now enjoying could be put in place and could be successful in other African countries?
There is no other option, and they have to do it. Look what we have faced this week in Sudan. And this might happen anywhere else, and it happened in the Middle Eastern countries. And if you don't really give people a safety valve to air their views, finally it will explode. And when leaders try to suppress their people, you never know. And what the Western world was trying to do in many African countries, our own people will do it in 3 days, what was impossible. And that's what has happened in Sudan now.
What do you think is the biggest challenge that Abiy Ahmed has looming as he attempts to control and govern 100 million people?
Every transition has got its challenges. But for us, exercising our democratic rights, not only as a right, but also carrying it is our responsibility when exercising our rights is the difficulty. Striking a balance between your rights and your responsibilities is the biggest challenge. Migration is a problem. Unemployment, we are suffering because when you have a distorted economy, a distorted politics, the consequence is multifaceted.
We know there are over 2 million internally displaced people currently in Ethiopia. 1.4 million of those was in the first half of 2018. Tell me what the government is doing to help those people.
The government is trying to respond quickly. The diaspora is responding quickly. And the aid agencies and the development partners are responding quickly. Then we are trying to minimize the suffering of people.
I was very pleased to say that the new parliament is 50% women. Tell me what kind of message this gives to not just to Ethiopians but to the rest of Africa.
Not only 50% are women in numbers, but the most important portfolios are the security sectors are under women. And plus the Chief Justice is a woman, and she was from the opposition and an activist. And the President, who was my boss for a long time, she is a lady. It is really an example that we set to others that they should follow, because half of you of a nation are women. And the women manage not only the kids, not only the houses, but the whole country. So giving them the rightful place is not a matter of gift, but it is just doing our responsibility. And I thank my Prime Minister for allowing this to happen. We are very proud of it.
We're lucky enough to be travelling to Ethiopia for World Press Freedom Day on May the 3rd. Tell me what we can expect by way of security. What's the security like there at the moment?
Ethiopia, and particularly Addis Ababa, you can roam around out of the city and you will see for yourself why I am happy that you are going to celebrate World Press Freedom Day. It's not because you are reporting positive about my country and being there as journalists, all from north, south, east, west. But you will have a chance to see for yourself what I'm saying now. Madame Burtukan Mideksa, who was jailed, who was in the United States, running away. Now she is the head of the election commission, the Independent Electoral Commission. And under her guidance, under her chairmanship, 107 people, parties, are sitting under one roof to adopt different ethics on how to go about our election and our democratic exercise. A member of Oromo Liberation Front and a member of Tigray People's Liberation Movement, they have to kill each other 3 years ago. And now they have to live together in the same city. And they are meeting in the same hall. So this is, I consider it as a miracle. this is what is happening in Ethiopia now.
And of course, you've arrived right in the middle of Brexit, which I'm sure you're fed up hearing and seeing. Tell me what your take as an outsider is on the Brexit situation at the moment.
I wish the British people and its government to quickly finalize this thing because I grew up with BBC since childhood. It's like I consider it like my parent. I am used to it since grade 4, year 3. And now I'm used to the BBC, evening, morning, anytime you open, it is about Brexit.
It is.
It is talking. So I can imagine how it overtaken the whole country, this Brexit thing. And I feel that the decision is for the UK people and its parliament, its government. But the quicker the solution, the better for us.
Ambassador, thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.